Good morning. This is Brian van Zyl, and I'm the Chief Architect of the South African Labour Law Reports. This year will be the 36th time that we'll be conducting these Labour Law Report seminars. And as in the past, we deal with the last 12 months' developments pertaining to labour law, industrial relations, human resources, and organisational design. But this year, the environment has changed totally. By the time that we normally do these seminars in August and September this year, we'll either be caught up in some type of alert level, or alternatively, what will happen is there will be restrictions on our movement. But there's another important consideration, and that's the health and safety of our delegates. So we've looked around and came up with a solution to give you a 5-star experience equivalent to those 5-star resorts that we used to do our seminars at. And that is live broadcasting. In the last 2 weeks, since we've done the first live demo, I've had a number of queries pertaining to what's the difference between live broadcasting and a webinar. And I just want to stress 3 major differences. The first one is when you have a webinar, you in essence have a talking head. What you have here is a proper broadcasting studio. We've built a studio in a 100 square meter environment, and you've got professional lighting, professional microphones, professional cameras, and that is the first major difference. The second major difference is that you have got a cameraman that sees to it that indeed all the angles are covered, that sees to it that indeed the recording takes place in such a manner that broadcasting in fact is executed. And the last big difference is you've got a technical team here. So we've put together an extremely competent technical team that covers with your pre-broadcasting requirements, covers with all the problems you might encounter during broadcasting, and lastly, deal with aftercare. So those are the major differences between webinars and what we have here, which is live broadcasting. So let's move then into what you can expect during the South African Labour Law Reports 36th Annual Seminar. So if we go to the program, you'll see that we start off at round about 7:15 each morning. So we'll be doing live broadcasting on the 12th of August, the 24th of August, the 27th of August, and then the 1st and the 3rd of September. And every morning we'll start off at 7:15 with broadcast assistance. For instance, if you look at your screen in front of you, there's a little button which gives you a full screen. Those are the type of things that we will be able to help you with. Then we deal from 8 o'clock onwards with an analysis of the judgments, awards, and rulings that form the basis of the seminar. At round about 8:15, we'll deal with our earning guidelines. Last year, we introduced for the first time our corporate, formal, informal, and non-corporate sector guidelines, and we're going to continue doing that. But there's another spin on it. The coronavirus has forced us all to focus on inequality. South Africa is probably one of the most unequal societies in the world. And the 2 major researchers out pertaining to inequality in respect of remuneration and inequality pertaining to wealth. Now, those things are quite important for us because out of this coronavirus will indeed come issues that we've battled with in the past, like, for instance, wealth tax and a further type of tax on employers. And then we start moving, if you look at the program, moving on to special features. You can't do a seminar in labour law, human resources, industrial relations, unless you analyse what this environment is going to be like post the coronavirus pandemic. And that means, in essence, that we look at organisational change. This is not a simple Section 189 exercise. This is not merely reducing the numbers of your workers. If you think that that is what the aim is, you've got it wrong. The aim is organizational change to put new structures in an organization so you can deal with new challenges, have that flexibility. And then at 9 o'clock, we move over to dealing with specific issues that delegates have asked us to deal with and that cropped up in the last 12 months. Like, for instance, secret recordings of the workplace, the new CCMA rules, etc. So if we move on then to our program, where we're going to go from there onwards is after tea time, we're going to move into what we're used to doing. So what we're used to doing is contractual rights and obligations. That continues an analysis of that. Thereafter, we're going to deal with statutory rights and obligations, misconduct, etc., etc. And then we hit lunchtime. Now, what is important for us to remember is that during each break, the team, SLR team, will have in front of us, all the queries that you've put through on the WhatsApp groups. And we'll then select from that WhatsApp groups various types of questions and which we'll provide answers of. The WhatsApp group is quite important in this environment. If you have software that drives live broadcast streaming and those little bubbles crop up, you'll see that that slows down the process. That's often when you see the person's mouth moving and the words are not in sync with it. So we've actually made the decision that we're going to have the WhatsApp platform in terms of which we're going to then deal with all issues, whether it's technical assistance, whether it is queries, whether it's questions, etc., etc. So at lunchtime, when you take your lunchtime break, as I said to you, we'll then deal with those. And after lunchtime, we're into what is quite an important part of the seminar, and that is the transfer of businesses going concerns. In this new environment, that's going to be one of the issues that will come up quite often. Miscellaneous topics like restraint of trades, particularly important in this coronavirus environment. And then the normal stuff. What are the latest developments pertaining to powers and functions of the Bargaining Council, CCM, powers and functions of the Labour Court, Labour Appeal Court, and eventually we close off at 4 o'clock every day. So that's the program. We've finalized the program. Everybody will get that program over the next couple of days by means of emails from us. That's how we're going to cover the seminar day. Now, I know it's quite difficult for everybody to look at my face for 8 hours during the day. So every 40, 45 minutes, we'll have a 2 or 3 minute break. And during that time period, you can stretch your legs and we'll come back. One of the other questions that I've been asking about is, Brian, what happens to our PowerPoint presentation? So we've worked out in this environment how we're going to deal with a PowerPoint presentation. Originally, what we dealt with is having a PowerPoint presentation behind me on the screen. I've had a couple of queries from people that obviously work within a setup like this and say, why don't you do that? The reason why we don't do that, again, has got to do with the speed of the broadcast. So when I deal with the PowerPoint presentation, it is in fact what you as the delegates will see on the screen as we've done in the past. So the seminar workbook is around about 350 pages. We'll over the next month, we'll put the final touches to that. More important is our PowerPoint presentation, which is about 200 pages. Today, everybody are visual learners. So everybody will look at the seminar workbook and say, well, that's my reference source. But visually, people learn by looking at PowerPoint presentations. So you'll get your PowerPoint presentations as we've done in the past. If we then have a look at it, then I'm just going to show you. There is our highlight. So as I've done in the past, you'll see the highlight. The categories are the same type of categories that you used to in the past. Introduction, etc., etc. Products and service development, and so we can continue. So the diagrams are expressed for you in the manner you can see there. There's our earnings levels, etc. And I'm sure you people will also be particularly interested in the slides that we have pertaining to the post-coronavirus, taking into account strategic organizational design considerations. And I'm sure you're going to hear things for the first time when we deal with that presentation. So, your seminar workbook as you've done in the past. You'll get the PowerPoint presentations that you've got in the past. And I think what I would like to do is just focus on a couple of issues that, that I think is important before we close down. So by the way, as you've done in the past, I can do this and I can move on my slides. Okay, so let's deal with some issues that are important. From all the queries that we've had over the last 2 to 3 weeks, and we probably had about 400 queries, one of the other main themes was we are busy practitioners. And how are you going to cater for us? How are you going to use this technology so that we can still get the 5-star experience, but spread out? So what we allow you to do is to attend any 3 sessions in whatever manner you want to. So you can attend the first session from, say, tea time until lunchtime. You can go back and attend the morning session, and you can do an afternoon session. So once you've got your workbook and once you've got your PowerPoint presentation, that flexibility pertaining to the 3-session offering to you, I'm sure will help you to get the best experience you can. The second issue that I've been asked about is CPD requirements, continual professional development requirements. As you know, our viewpoint at the SLR team is that an out-of-date practitioner is an incompetent practitioner. So we've developed a register in terms of we, for each single delegate, have a log in and log out register how you attend these workshops. And as you know, these workshops are accredited, so they are accredited learning events, and you get your CPD points, your required CPD points. Pertaining to our seminar workbook. Now, we've done 2 things in the new seminar workbook you have. The format we've kept the same. But over the years, people have asked us, where's your index of all cases referred to? Where is your index of all articles referred to? And where's your index of acronyms? So in this year's workbook, we particularly included those types of tables. Important thing. If you go to the South African Labour Reports website, you'll see that we track all the coronavirus developments, statutory developments, what's in newspapers, regulations, etc. So we thought it prudent that we'll start introducing now in the workbook also a section that specifically summarizes all the statutory development over the last 12 months. Remember, the coronavirus has been part of my and your life since the 26th of March. Long after the lockdown has been lifted, it will still be part of my and your life. You need a reference of all of those statutory interventions to determine, if there's a dispute, how you should have behaved during this time period. Then, a fun issue, corporate logos. All delegates can submit their corporate logos. These corporate logos will be displayed when we do live transmissions, either before the opening of the live transmission or alternatively during the breaks. And I think today we've showed you already how that will work. Another fun element is our delegate photographs. So all delegates can submit photographs of themselves. We'll have a gallery of photographs, and again, that will be something that we'll transmit during various of the breaks. And then the last issue before we end is our lucky draw. So what happened is, this year we introduced the first lucky draw of the South African Labour Law Reports. And the prize fund was R250,000. So we first already had the first session of the lucky draws, and we gave away prizes of around about 125,000 Rand. If you think if your name is on that list, please go to our Labour Law Reports website and go and look and see what happened. But during the seminar, we'll also give away the last 125,000 Rand of prizes. So the way it will work, on 12th of August, 24th of August, 27th of August, the 1st and the 2nd of September, we'll give away those lucky draws. And then there's one big national lucky draw on the very last day. So we can't wait to make you a winner. So ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, this is Brian van Zyl heading up the SLR team, still in lockdown, excited about where this is going. Is lifted. This live broadcast will be part of our solutions to make your experience just so much better. Still in lockdown, but still kicking like hell. Thank you very much.